Hello and welcome to my channel. Granati Kalishka, or better known as Ashlock, is a defender from the Fortress Defender archetype, and this archetype's trait allows Ashlock to deal ranged AoE physical damage when she isn't blocking enemies and her range is weird to say the least. Moving on to her stats, she has an average HP for a defender, higher than average attack, lower than average defense, a high DP cost and a rather long attack interval, and has 0 resistance. Her stats are fairly balanced, which is good. Next is her talent. It states that Ashlock gets a small attack buff, and if the 4 adjacent tiles are ground tiles, the attack buff doubles. This talent is a nice one as the attack buff is always a welcome addition, but it may be hard to activate the ×2 buff as most maps have a decent number of ranged tiles and are usually close to the ground tiles. Moving on to her skills, her first skill is the usual attack buff, as her attacks deal AoE damage. A higher attack buff means more damage dealt to enemies within the AoE. A good skill to use for early game, but not a skill worth the masteries. This skill has an average SP cost and a decent duration. Next is her second skill. It reduces her block to 0 and she only performs ranged attacks, but as a trade-off, her attack interval is significantly shortened and she gets an attack buff. This skill is pretty situational as the 0 block can be really bad in situations where there are a lot of enemies and you need someone to block. Needless to say, if you are using this skill on Ashlock, don't expect her to tank enemies when this skill is active. That being said, the attack buff and shortened attack interval means Ashlock's DPS output shoots up when the skill is active. This skill has a pretty low SP cost, but has a really short duration, which can be good as the block reduction's uptime won't be too long. So, should you pull and build Ashlock? The answer is probably not. While Ashlock can do AoE attacks, her second skill is very situational and her range is weird, limiting the number of stages you can bring her into for maximum effectiveness. That being said, Ashlock seems like a super fun operator to play with, so if you are interested in these things, go ahead and pull for her, but don't expect her to do crazy amounts of damage without support units. And that is all. Hope this video was helpful in introducing operator Ashlock. I will be making similar content in the near future, so do consider subscribing. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.